If you want to understand Montreal, you don't start with the landmarks. You start with a normal day. Not the must sees, not the most photographed corners, just the way people actually move throughout this city from morning to night. Because if you follow the rhythm instead of the highlights, Montreal makes a lot more sense. Mornings in Montreal are not frantic, especially on a Sunday morning. In spring, we walk to the market to pick up groceries, and places like Jean Talon Market don't just become destinations for tourists, they're also one of the pulses that keeps the city thriving. It's picking up locally grown tomatoes and meeting with a friend for a crêpe bretonne after grocery shopping. And you don't visit Jean Talon in a rush. You talk to the vendors you've known for years and compare apples to one another. Montreal's seasonality really comes through here. In winter, it's root vegetables, preserves, warm pastries, and an espresso in your cold hands. And in summer, it explodes in color. But even now, in the quieter months, it still feels alive. And Montreal doesn't just eat well because of restaurants. It eats well because food is part of our everyday life. And places like this are where you get to see that most clearly. So if you want to understand Montreal, you have to understand how seriously we take our food. Food is culture. It's not just about where you eat. It's about how often you return and how that place becomes part of your identity. The same bagel shop for 20 years, the same neighborhood cafe where they know your order, the same family restaurant that survives because 3 generations keep showing up. Montrealers protect their sacred community spots. Italian bakeries, Jewish delis, Vietnamese counters, Lebanese grills. You can actually see the waves of immigration through what people eat every single day. And what makes a city special isn't just the diversity. It's that these places become part of people's routines. Food isn't just something Montrealers go out for. It's how we stay connected to our neighborhoods, our families, and to where we come from. Because in this city, meals are not just meals. They're a continuity of history. And people actually stop for a bite. They don't treat it like a transaction. We stand outside, we talk longer than we plan to, and nobody looks like they're racing to get somewhere else. Cafes aren't just caffeine stops, they're neighborhood anchors. You start seeing the same faces over and over, and that's part of the charm. If you want to experience Montreal properly, you don't grab and go. You sit, even if it feels inefficient. And then you go for a walk. Not downtown, not the biggest street, a residential one. Duplexes, triplexes, balconies that are almost touching each other. People live close here, physically close, and Montreal isn't a skyline city, it's a side-by-side city. And that proximity definitely changes how people behave. It definitely reflects the strength of our identity as a community. But in Montreal, all roads lead to coffee. By late afternoon, something else happens. We all go for coffee again. Not because we're tired, not because we need caffeine, but because it's part of the rhythm of our day. Places like Cafe Olympico aren't just cafes, they're institutions. They're the kind of places that don't need to explain themselves because they've been part of the neighborhood longer than most people living in it. You'll see students, construction workers, creatives, families, all sitting a few feet from each other, and nobody is rushing to leave. People sit with their dogs in their laps and catch up after a long day of work, and I highly recommend not squeezing in 3 must-see stops before midnight. Montreal's pride is about stability and coexistence, everyday rituals that people care enough to preserve. And maybe that's part of what Canadian greatness actually looks like. It's not intense dominance or noise, but a quiet sense of confidence that we all share. For that real Montreal experience, you have to chase the ordinary, because it's the ordinary that makes this city extraordinary.